Good morning, good evening, good day. It's Tracy back from Mackley House. How are you all doing? Hope you're all doing fabulous. Today we've got a video and it's all about diamond painting. So I've had quite a few comments asking me, exactly what it is, how do you do it, is it expensive to do, what do I need, and tips, etc. So I thought we'd create this video to go through all of that and anything that I've learned so far. So let's get started. What is it is the main topic here. Who created it? So who created it? It was first introduced by a company called in the Guangdong Dazzling Yuming Laser Technology Company. Let me try that again. Guangdong Dazzling Yuming Laser Technology Company Limited, and now they're based in China. It was invented in 2010 as a variation of other popular sort of crafts like cross stitch and paint by numbers. The company that created it, they thought the idea of creating tiny little resin pieces, which we classify as diamonds or drills, to adhere to canvases to create like a mosaic. That's the basics of diamond painting. From there, everybody got hooked, especially obviously in China, America, Canada, and parts of Europe. About 2015, that all sort of started to take off. And then sort of craft companies started getting into it and making little kits so that you've got everything in one bundle that you need. Key components of diamond painting. You get a canvas. The canvas is pre-printed with a pattern similar to cross-stitch chart, if you've ever done one of those. And it is an adhesive surface that's covered with a protective film to keep it sticky until you're ready to actually do it. Now, the diamonds. The diamonds are small resin pieces, often referred to like as drills or diamonds, but they're just tiny little resin-like tiles. They come in either round or square-shaped. Now, the rounds are generally easier to do because you haven't got to twist it to stick it onto the canvas, but the square you have to slightly align up to keep it straight and then stick it in. Now, the difference between the square and the round is the square tends to cover the entire canvas. So you'll get a square part on the canvas and then you put your square drill on top of it, therefore covering the whole canvas. Whereas the round ones leaves those little corners uncovered. But hopefully the print underneath on the canvas should cover that colour so you don't notice it so much. So the next component is tools. Now, you don't need many tools to diamond paintings, but generally, if you're buying a kit, it comes with like a pen-like tool, and it's got like a little hole or indent in it on the end there. And what you do is you stick your pen tool into the wax that gets provided, and the wax blocks up the hole, leaving a tiny little sticky globule there so that you can dunk it on top of the little diamond piece and therefore pick it up and place it onto your sticky canvas. So you get your pen. Now, generally in the kits you get a tray, not as big as this one, but you do get a tray so that you can put your drills into and pick up your diamonds from the tray. And shaking that tray, the diamonds could line up into these little grooves, making it a little bit easier to pick them up. Types of diamond painting, I've noticed. Now, I always tend to buy full drill diamond paintings, and that is the entire canvas is covered with the sticky picture so that I cover the whole canvas in my drills, my diamonds. You can get a partial drill where only certain areas of the picture or the canvas that you can decorate with the diamonds. So I've seen some backgrounds, like trees and skies, etc., that are not sticky, and just say the animal or something in the center of the canvas is sticky. So it's not a full canvas, so you have to watch for whether you want a full drill or partial drill. They're the types. Other than the round and the square actual drills, that's pretty much all you've got to look for diamond paintings. Top 20 tips for better diamond painting. The first tip is preparation. Choose a comfortable workspace. It's got to be flat, well lit, plenty of room for your supplies and your canvas. Pretty straightforward tip. Number 2, flatten the canvas. Often when you get the canvases, they're either rolled or they could be sort of folded around the drills. Take them out of the packet and re-roll them the opposite direction, sort of make it as flat as you can. So flatten your canvases. Even if you pin it down with magnets or books or clips or clamps to something, the flatter, the better. 3, organise your diamonds. Use containers. You guys might have seen that I've got the Art Dot containers. These are my choice of containers. You don't have to use these. Some diamond paintings come in little like zippy bags that you could leave them in. But it makes it so much easier if you organise your diamonds in whatever choice of containers that you need. 4, start with a small section. I mean, for me personally, I take off the whole plastic cover. It's like a film layer. And then I recover them. Let me show you my diamond painting. This is a little one that I'm doing. But I then recover them in release papers. Now these papers just cover the sticky, protecting it whilst you're working on another area. So I take off the whole sheet and cover with these release papers. That also gives me the ability to just work on one small section at a time, which is tip 4. Work on a small section at a time. I mean, if this section's too big for you, get smaller release papers, etc., and just do one little square at a time. But you'll find you'll get so much more done if you work on one little section at a time. Another tip, use masking tape or, like I have here on this one, use tape around the edge, because when you get the picture, there is a small amount of glue that goes past the picture around the edge. That can get really annoying, sticking to your sleeves, etc. Or if you've got a messy cat like mine, it can get cat hair, etc. on. So use tape, it could be masking tape or any sort of tape around the edge and cover that excess sticky up. Number 6, upgrade your pen. Now, you can see here, I've got the same pen and I've just used the extra little buffers to make them a little bit spongier, but most people like to upgrade this pen to like a fatter, more comfortable pen. If you've got carpal tunnel or you've got problems with your hands, then upgrading to a fatter pen will see you good. Especially, my only other tip is look for the metal nibs. Stay away from the plastic ones. They're not as good. Go for metal bits at the end. Now, I have got a pen that I upgraded to, but let me zoom in and show you this. The end of this nozzle here is quite thin. So therefore, when I'm just finding it easier to stick it onto my drill bit and get it right close to another one. Now, the custom one that I bought, it's much fatter around the edge there. So I'm finding it sort of knocks me away from the other drill, so leaving a small gap. So which is why I went back to the standard pen. But most people will improve with upgrading the pen. So that's the next tip. Tip number 7, use a light pad. I've got a massive light pad. I've got the Caterpillar Glow Ultra and it's huge. It's something like 23" by 30 something. It's big. The bigger, the better. But you just want that glow from underneath, because when you put your diamond painting on, it helps glow those numbers to make it that little bit easier to see the symbols as to where you stick your little drills. So get a light pad. 8. Invest in a funnel. Just something as straightforward as a little funnel can make a big difference. Now, in some of the kits, especially when you buy the little kits that you've seen me buy in the past, they come with little pop-up funnels so that you can make it easier to pour your drills in. If not, use your hand as a funnel. It depends on how many drills you're pouring in. I've got 2 funnels, but to be honest, I think I've only ever used it once. I tend to just use my hands. I just grip the top of my little bottles right at the top, therefore making my hand into a funnel. But if you can't do that, or you find that uncomfortable, get yourself a little tiny pop-up funnel. 9. When you go to use your wax, don't overload your pen with the wax. I mean, I've seen people dip it in and it's sort of bulging out that way. But what happens is when you go to squidge onto the drill, it sort of splays out the wax, and then you put it down, get for the next one, and it sticks to a nut. Like you'll end up with 2 or 3 stuck to the nib at the same time. Dip your pen into the wax and make sure it's flat. You don't want no bulging excess amount of wax, to be honest. You want it kind of flat, just so that you can tap the top of the drill bit and it sticks. That's all you need. Excess wax will only cause you a pain in the bum. So less is more, basically. If you're doing, I've known some people that do the square drills. I'm a square drill lover. And I know some people that use the flat tweezers instead of a pen to place all of their bits. You see, this tweezer has got like a flat edge so that you can pick up your diamond paint, your drill, and then stick it onto your canvas. Now, for me, it's not a comfortable hand sort of gesture for me, because you've got to squeeze it. So I don't think that is for everyone, but it might work for some of you for plonking on the diamond, because you obviously don't need the wax, but I know a lot of people get on really well with the tweezers, the flat-ended tweezers, rather than the pen. 11. It makes it a lot easier when you get your canvas to work from top to bottom. But if you can see here, I've worked from bottom and I'm working my way up to the top, because this is a really small canvas and I'm working on it sideways. So for me, that didn't apply on this canvas, but on your average canvas, it's easier to work from the top, working your way down. Basically, because this is covered in your protective papers and you're working on it, your arm is not sticking on diamonds that you've already put on the canvas, and you're not getting stuck to anything because it's all protected with the papers. So it just makes it a lot easier to work from top to bottom. Tip 12. Group similar colours. Work on one colour at a time is another tip. A lot of people like to work on similar colours, therefore you're not switching the bottles in and out as much. For me, I don't tend to go for similar colours. What I do is I quickly scan the canvas area that I'm doing, and whatever letter jumps out at me, in other words, the one that seems to be the most of them, is the one I go for. It's like I looked at this canvas here, and this is quite dark. And if you can see that one at the bottom is on this canvas, it's a letter R. Now that's what jumped out at me the most. That's the one I done first. So that's how I do it, is I go for whatever letter jumps out at me is the one I go for first. Okay. 13. Labelling. Label clearly. So some canvases have got A, B, C, D, E, and others have got like 1, 2, 3, 4, which is great. Some canvases put symbols like a hash or an ampersand, and I've seen like teardrops and stuff like that. So they can be quite tricky sometimes, especially if you turn your canvas sideways. So you've got to make sure you label your little pots really clearly so you don't mess up your colours. And because whilst we're doing that, in that tip is if you turn your work sideways to work on a canvas, turn your bottles sideways as well, because then you're still looking at the symbol the correct way for the canvas. So that's another thing that I tend to do. It's a bit easier when it's A, B, C, but when it turns into little teardrops or greater than symbols or less than symbols, that's what I do, is I turn my bottles sideways so that it matches the way I'm viewing my canvas. Okay. 14. Avoid static as much as possible. These little diamonds, they stick together without any problem at all because they're like resin, so they're plastic. But if you're getting a lot of static, get a tumble dryer sheet out and you can wipe your hands, you can wipe the inside of your storage jars with them so that it pours out, wipe your tray with it so that you just take away as much static as possible. So that's number 14. 15. You don't want to lose a stickiness, so you want to check the adhesive. You want if there's an area that seems to be less tacky, get a bit of PVA or craft glue, dop it down on the painting so that you given it that extra tackiness. So when you put your diamond painting on, your diamond resin on, you know it's going to stick. So if it's not sticking very well, get a little bit of glue out and blop the glue down, right? Because that diamond drill will fall out. So check your tackiness. 16. Keep it clean. Obviously, I mean, you need to avoid touching the canvas as much as possible. The more you touch it or lean on it, etc., the less tackiness you're going to have. So avoid touching it with anything. 17. You want to try and put your diamonds on as straight as possible. The straighter the better. You get a better outcome when you line it up really nice and straight. Some canvases are really easy, that they give a clear symbol with a circle for round, so you can cover that whole circle, or a square. Some just put a symbol and you have to plonk your diamond over that symbol, and you can go off a little bit, so therefore not being quite aligned, which in a lot of the kits they give you like a little pusher so that you can try and line up your drills. Whereas I've noticed sometimes when you try and move your drill, it just bounces back to where it was because it's stuck on the sticky. Now if it's well out of place, I use my tweezers, take that diamond drill off and realign it again, because it's a lot easier than trying to just push it, because sometimes that push doesn't work. But obviously, the straighter you get it, the better it will look at the end. Okay, let's go to finishing touches. Number 18, roll the canvas. Once it's finished, you want to squash all those diamonds down as much as possible. You can get little brayers that you roll over the final diamonds, and you want to just squash those into place. So you want to roll them. I've seen some people use a rolling pin on it and roll the diamonds after finished work. 19. Seal it. Use a clear, non-yellowing sealant. Now, a lot of the sealants tend to be like a PVA. I've used Puzzle Fixative on one of mine, and I've used Mod Podge on a couple of them. And I've also used the actual diamond painting clear sealant that you can buy. But seal it. The more that you think it will be touched, the more you need to seal it. The last one, number 20, frame it. That That craft could have taken you a few weeks to do. Be proud of it. Frame it. Display it. I mean, there are different frames. You can put them in a straightforward picture frame, or you could put them in the magnetic frames where the top and bottom are magnets, so it just holds your painting upwards. But hang it up and be proud of it. Where do you get the kits from? In the description below, I've put just 20 places that I know of that you can get diamond painting kits. Now, as you may know, I buy a lot of my diamond painting kits, like 99% of mine from Temu. You could start off with a cheaper one from Temu and then start going to like a Diamond Club one. I mean, Diamond Club we'd all love to buy, but personally, I can't afford that, but I would love to try it one day. But for now, I'm happy sticking to AliExpress and Temu, etc. And Shein. Shein's another place that do it. But I will link 20 places in the description for you to have a look at as to where to get diamond painting kits from. Okay, let's look at a kit together. This is a new kit that I've purchased from Temu. And I'll show you what comes in the kit, basically. So we'll open the packet. Inside the packet, we get the actual drills. Here they are. And these ones are in resealable packets. So you could just diamond paint from these rather than putting them into a pot. So there's all the colours that match. You also get the tray and a basic pink pen with a lump of wax. Basically, everything that you need. And this is the canvas. Upside down. No, it's not. I thought it was upside down. It's not. This is the canvas that I purchased here. And you can see it's all curled up. So what you would do is roll it the other way, trying to get it as flat as possible. Some people clamp them to the desk with magnets. I've seen some people that have got trays and they like tape them to the edge. You want it, the flatter, the better, because obviously it makes it easier rather than going over these little lumps here. That's all that comes in the kit. That's all there is to it. Is your little tray, your pen, and your drill pieces. Okay, what they call kitting up. Kitting up is when you're going to start a new diamond painting like this one, and you're going to basically prepare it, ready to get started. And what I do is remove this cling filmy layer, transparent layer, and replace it with all my papers. And you can, these are like wax baking papers, basically. They are just thin pieces of paper and they've got wax on them. So therefore it's going to release from the sticky. And for me, these are 4x6 in size, and they're the perfect size for me to diamond paint, because I know I take one of these off, I diamond paint that one area and then walk away. Sometimes I've done two, but most of the time it's just one of these at a time. It's not as overwhelming as when you look at the whole thing and you think, oh my God, I'm never going to get that finished. But if you've just got that little 4x6 square on there, it's a small section that you're working on. It makes it a lot easier. Now, I personally put my drills in little pots like this. There are link the art dot storage containers that I use down below for you in the comments. But these little pots are ideal. And on the top, you put the code. Now, if you look on the diamond painting here, they've got a legend on the side here. Let's come in close. That's upside down, Trace. We've covered it. You could have told me. Put it upside down. So here you've got the legend so that you can see, if, for instance, let's look at number 10. Number 10 is the letter D on the canvas. Can you see there? That's a D. So basically, bag number 10 goes on letter D. So on my pot, that's an A, but I would mark letter D and put all bag number 8 contents in it. Bag number 10 contents, in it. So that's part of kitting up. So you've got your sticky papers on, you've put all your beads in little pots, you're ready to go. There's nothing to stop you now. That's all you need, because they give you your basic tray. At a later stage, if you get into it, you can upgrade this tray. You can upgrade the pen if you want. But as you've seen, I'm still using the basic pen. I have bought some upgraded pens, but I'm not getting on as well with them. So, yeah, I'm kind of liking the basic pen. But there's a lot of people out there with carpal tunnel, so you need a fatter pen. But that comes in time. Just start off with this one first. That is pretty much all there is to it. And then it's just a matter of, the only other tip that I can give is when you're looking for a kit, is pick a picture that you really love, because the more you love it, the more you're actually going to complete it. If it's a really boring picture, you're not going to complete that picture, not unless you're determined or stubborn like me, where you think, oh, I'm not letting it beat me, which is what I tend to do. But I go for whatever image I love the look of. And I also try to go for colours that I like, bright colours that I like. And really, the more colours, the better. For me, personally, I tend to head for those. And as less background as possible. If this was a small image on a big black background or big white background, that is a lot of one colour, and that gets really tedious doing like chunks of just white. That's kind of boring. So look at your image and make sure you pick the image that you really want. And of course, there are custom ones out there as well. You don't have to pick the images that are in the kits. You can, like on Temu or Shein, etc., or AliExpress, you can send up your photograph and get your family in on a diamond painting instead. You don't have to have a standard picture that they've done in AI or whatever. You can create your own photographs into diamond paintings as well, which is really lovely. So that is diamond paintings. What do you do when you're finished with them? Like I said, for me personally, I'd frame it if you can. But once you get a little bit too obsessive, you're going to run out of wall space. So you're going to need other things to do with it. I've got a few. I've got an A3 and an A2 portfolio, and I keep a lot of my diamond paintings in those as much as possible. Now, the only downside to that is not many people see it. I get to see it when I flick through it. And really, I must show you guys my portfolios at some point. That would be nice. But we don't have enough wall space for all of them. And of course, they're good for the smaller diamond paintings. What do you do with the big ones out there? I've done a few big ones. And once you've got all your drills stuck to it, you don't want to roll it inwards, because that can prise your diamond paintings off a little bit. It scrunches them together. Once you've finished your diamond painting, roll with the completed drills on the outside, because it'll be less strain on the diamonds if you roll outwards. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look around for some tubes, cardboard tubes, like they send them in the post. And I might start keeping completed ones in cardboard tubes or plastic tubes. But I think plastic tubes might be a bit heavy, so I'm going to look around for cardboardy ones, and I'm thinking that's how I'm going to store a few of mine. But some of them come in boxes anyway, and you can roll them back up and put them back into the boxes, especially if you're buying from somewhere like Diamond Art Club. They come in lovely boxes anyway, so you can just put them back into those boxes, no problem at all. Okay, so that's the basics of diamond painting. For me, it should have been called micro tiling because that makes more sense to me. It is micro tiling. But get started. Pick one. Pick a fabulous picture. Go small. Start at, say, 30 by 40, which tends to be like a standard one. And it'll cost you £2 or £3 to get your first diamond painting started. And that's all it'll cost you on the first one. You don't have to spend 30, 40 quid on a diamond painting until you get obsessed with it. And you will. If you get that first diamond painting completed, I've got a feeling you're going to go on and complete maybe 20 of them. So be prepared to look for storage. Okay, that's it. That's all my tips. Hopefully that's helped out a few of you for now. But I've got loads of diamond painting hauls that I've done on the channel. And I've got the storage from Art Dot on the channel as well. So I'll link all of those down below for you, just in case you want to take a peek. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy your new craft. It is a fabulous craft to get into because it allows you to not think about anything other than the actual diamond painting and the sticking and the... Because that's what you tend to hear is as you're sticking the tiles on, is it goes... every time it releases onto the sticky. For some reason, it's like a meditative thing. It makes you forget about everything else going on other than the little... You'll see what I mean. Give it a go. It's a fabulous, cheap craft. It doesn't have to be an expensive craft. It can get expensive if you let it, depending on where you buy your diamond paintings from. And maybe over time it'll increase. But for now, 2 or 3 quid is probably all you need to do to give it a go. So, thank you so much for watching. Be good and look after yourself, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.